Ladies and gentlemen, something absolutely insane just happened in WWE, and I promise you, the wrestling world will never be the same again. The Bloodline war has taken a turn nobody could have predicted. The betrayal, the loyalty, the mind games, and now it looks like Solo Sikoa has pulled off the ultimate heist by stealing a reinforcement that may shift power back into his hands. This isn't just about the championship anymore. It's not even just about family. This is a civil war. Now, let's rewind and set the stage because what we witnessed recently isn't something that just happened overnight. This story has been building for years. The Bloodline was once the most dominant force in WWE. Roman Reigns at the helm. The Usos unified behind him. Paul Heyman pulling strings like a master puppeteer. Titles were won. Records were broken. Legends were crushed. There wasn't a faction that could touch them. But as history teaches us, the mightiest empires don't fall from outside attacks. They collapse from within. It all started when Roman Reigns began asserting dominance not just over his opponents, but over his own family. Jimmy and Uso, once loyal soldiers, began questioning the tribal chief's intentions. Seeds of rebellion were planted. Emotions ran high. Trust was tested. And just when things seemed like they were healing, Jacob Fatu stepped into the picture. A force of nature tied by blood, but fueled by a very different sense of family. Let's talk about Jacob Fatu. He's not just a powerhouse in the ring. He's a symbol. He represents what the Bloodline used to be about. Pride, tradition, respect. And when he made his WWE debut, fans were electric. But no one could have anticipated how big of a role he would play in tearing the family apart or saving it at Money in the Bank. The fuse was lit. Solo Sikoa, now off the rails, aligned himself with Jeff Cobb, a brutal enforcer from NJPW's ranks, imported into WWE under the radar. The two were on a mission. A mission to make sure that Roman Reigns and anyone loyal to him were wiped off the chessboard. Jey Uso was caught in the crosshairs, and just as it looked like he was about to be decimated, the unthinkable happened. Jacob Fatu hit the ring. He didn't hesitate. He didn't wait for a theme song or a cue. He stormed down that ramp like a man possessed, taking blows meant for Jimmy, sacrificing his body in the name of something greater, unity. He threw hands with Jeff Cobb and Solo, turning the tide, forcing them to retreat in fury. The audience silent, shocked, then roaring with respect. But that wasn't the end. Oh no, that was only the beginning. Later that night, the lights went dim. The air changed. Roman Reigns' theme hit and the entire arena knew something big was about to go down. This wasn't a standard entrance. This wasn't a tribal chief coming to gloat. No. Roman walked out slowly, purposefully, his eyes locked on Jacob Fatu, who stood beside a battered, bruised Jey Uso. Roman entered the ring. And then he said words that no one could have expected. You didn't have to do that, but you did because family means something to you. Let that sink in. Roman Reigns, the man who ruled with an iron fist, who forced cousins to acknowledge him or be crushed, who manipulated and demanded obedience, just showed vulnerability. He extended his hand, and time stopped. Jacob Fatu hesitated, the tension thick enough to cut with a blade. Then he grabbed Roman's hand and in front of the world pulled him into a crushing embrace. A moment of reconciliation, of Samoan brotherhood, the tribal chief and the wild cousin finally aligned for one brief moment maybe. But that moment shattered when Solo Sikoa's music hit. Solo appeared on the ramp, his face twisted in rage. He stared down Roman, Jacob, and Jimmy, not as brothers, but as enemies. His message was short, but it echoed in every corner of the arena. This ain't over. Then, like a shadow in the night, he vanished. That's when the real chaos started. Backstage, Rikishi, the father of the Usos and the true elder of this dynasty, finally broke his silence. In a voice filled with both sorrow and resolve, he said the words that shook fans to their core. Blood don't make family. Loyalty does. This wasn't just a backstage interview. It was a warning. And then came Jey Uso, the man who once stood by Roman's side. The man who broke away, who returned, who left again. Jey looked into the camera and said, I don't know who to trust no more, but I know who I fight for. That one line perfectly encapsulated where this story is going. Because now we're left with fractured lines. Roman Reigns, the battered tribal chief, extending forgiveness. Jacob Fatu, the rising powerhouse, proving he fights for real family. Jey Uso, caught between redemption and betrayal. Jey Uso, uncertain and lost. And Solo Sikoa, who has now declared war on everything the Bloodline used to stand for. But Solo isn't alone. Word is Solo has made a back-channel deal. He's stolen a major OTC reinforcement. Some are saying it's someone from outside WWE. Others believe it's a returning legend. Whoever it is, this reinforcement is meant to counter the rise of Fatu and the Reformed Alliance under Roman. Solo's is building something dark, ruthless, a hybrid between the new school and old school savagery. Let's not ignore Paul Heyman. Silent, watching, calculating. Rumors swirl that Paul is quietly aligning himself with Seth Rollins. Growing faction, which includes Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and others disillusioned with the main event structure. If Roman's bloodline collapses completely, could Mon jump ship and guide Solo's revolution? But this isn't just an internal civil war anymore. No, outside forces are watching. Seth Rollins and his faction, including Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, have their eyes locked on the chaos inside the Bloodline. And while the family is distracted by betrayal and shifting alliances, could Seth and his crew strike at the most vulnerable moment? Could they be the ones to bring the whole empire crumbling down? Let's not forget what set this all off. Jacob Fatu's shocking victory over Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank changed everything. It wasn't just a match. It was a declaration. It showed that the Bloodline's power structure could be shaken. And now with Jey Uso backing Roman, Jacob Fatu proving his loyalty and Solo out for blood. This family is more broken than ever. Roman Reigns isn't just dealing with betrayal. He's facing a rebellion from within. And while he might have found a new right-hand man in Jacob Fatu, that alliance has put a massive target on both their backs. Solo Sikoa won't forget. Jeff Cobb won't forget. And the question that lingers now is this. Did Roman just find his salvation? Or did he just light the match that will burn the Bloodline to the ground? So many questions. So few answers. What we know for sure is this. The Bloodline war has gone from being about who wears the crown to who survives the storm. There are no clean sides anymore. No simple heroes and villains. Only broken bonds, shifting alliances, and the undeniable feeling that something massive is coming. Jacob Fatu may have earned Roman Reigns' respect. But at what cost? Is this the beginning of a new era, a reborn, honorable bloodline? Or is it just the calm before Solo Sikoa unleashes absolute destruction? The road ahead is unpredictable. The locker room is divided. Legends are returning. New warriors are rising. And somewhere in the shadows, Solo is preparing a counterstrike that could end this once and for all. This is no longer just a wrestling storyline. This is generational warfare, legacy versus evolution, family versus ambition, loyalty versus power. And we're just getting started. If you thought the Bloodline story was done, think again. Get ready. Because the war for the soul of WWE is happening right now. And no one is safe. Also, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell icon right next to it. Catch you guys in the next video.